Hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about how I used to spend my money when I was younger. So, 12-year-old me was totally into getting the latest games, techs, and gadget. Every time I had gotten my allowance, it was like I felt a race to spend it. Like, I'd see a new game come out, I'd be like, oh, I have to have it. The coolest tech, oh, yes, I needed it too. My room felt like mainly a mini man cave almost, I should say. But the funny thing is, I was always broke. Like my wallet was a ghost town. I'd blow my entire allowance in whatever the newest thing was. Be it a new PS4 game, be it maybe a new PS4 controller. At the time, it seemed like it was worth it. Like we wouldn't want the latest, like who wouldn't be wanting the latest tech or games that everyone was talking about? And feeling of unboxing new tech, there's nothing like it, correct? But that was when I started to notice something. As soon as I spent my money, poof, it was gone. Then I'd be left with all the stuff that I didn't even use that much after the first few days or the first few times. But hey, that was 12-year-old me. Then, when I turned around 13, something changed in me. It wasn't like I suddenly just became all responsible overnight, but I started to think more about what I was doing with my money. I realized I was spending so much on things that I didn't really need. Like, yeah, that new game might be cool, but I didn't always need it to survive. Not exactly. So, I started making some smarter choices. Instead of quickly blowing my allowance like the snap of a finger, like what I just did, on every new thing that came out, I decided, you know what, I'll just save up for all the stuff I actually needed. Like, I'll just save up, keep it if I don't need it, keep the money, and if I needed something, buy it. Like, for example, this microphone that I was using. Previous one, it was just not the best. The headset microphone was not the best audio. Or my keyboard, it always would make my hands hurt. And then sure, I'd buy a new one. But it was only if I really needed it and started having problem with my tech. Like, if my current setup was working fine, I'd hold off until it started to have problems. At first, it didn't feel easy due to the shiny object syndrome and temptation, but let's be real. That temptation to spend money on the latest and greatest, almost everyone has it somewhere or the other. But once I started saving instead of spending, things kinda started to change. For once, I wasn't broke at all. Like, or most of the time anyways. I actually had some money saved up. And well, that felt really good. It was like I had finally gotten control over whatever my spending was, and instead of it controlling me with FOMO, I was actually for once controlling the FOMO myself and not giving in. On top of that, whenever I did buy something new, it felt way more satisfying because majority of the time I knew I needed it. Sure, there might have been a few exceptions that where FOMO got in the way, but it wasn't too major. One of the more recent examples would be probably the Stampy U2s I bought that's sitting on my desk. Even though it wasn't really something I needed, but since I used to watch that guy during my childhood years, I've just felt like I really needed something of him. As a child, I never really got the chance to buy it. And honestly, this whole experience taught me a lot about priorities. I mean, sure, it's fun to have new stuff and all, but it's even better to know that you've got some money saved up for when you really need it. I guess you could say I grew up a little. Nowadays, I'm way more careful with how I spend my money. Whenever I feel like I want to or need to buy something, I think twice before buying it, at least like 90% of the time. And I'm way more focused on saving for the things that like would really matter. For example, let's just say if my mouse broke down and I also wanted like just say a new game for my PS5. Let's go with let's go with just say for example if a new Uncharted game came out for the PS5. I'd be like, okay, can I go without the Uncharted game? Will it be all good? And what about my mouse? I'd think about that and I'd be like, okay, yeah, mouse I definitely need because even though I don't play games much, sometimes I'd be able to use the mouse because I'd be working on my computer a lot. But the game, I can hold off and wait until it gets cheaper to get a used copy. And yeah, so that's my story on how I tackled FOMO. And I hope you all end up enjoying this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it, share it if you liked it, and be sure to click the subscribe button for more amazing lessons. Also guys, comment down below like what were some of your experiences when you were blowing your cash every time a new object came around. Let me know, I'm quite curious. Thank you.